Welcome to Live DAF, your online DAF Yomi Shir.
Shalom Aleichem, welcome back to today's DAF Hayemi, Maseches KIDDUSHIN Lamed Beis. We are holding on Lamed Aleph Lamed Beis, 3 lines off the bottom. Tanu Rabbana, we all know that regarding Kibbud Av V'Eim, there are two mitzvahs, Kavod and Moira. So Kibbud Av V'Eim involves expressing Kavod, honoring them, helping them, as we're going to see soon. Ish Imay V'Aviv Tiro is another aspect of this mitzvah. Moira, awe, showing reverence, inserting an element of formality in your relationship with father and mother. Tanu Rabbanan, how exactly does this manifest? What are the expressions of Kibbud and Moira? Ezeo Moira, Vezeo Kibbud, what are these two things? What do they involve? Some examples. Moira, examples of Moira is Loy Oimed B'Mkoimoi, one is careful not to stand in the place where his father is accustomed to standing. And Rashi says, a Mokim which is Miyucha, designated for his discussions with his colleagues. It's a derech for him to stand, Besoid Zekenim Im Chaverov Be'isa, where they sit and they discuss. So that Mokim, don't stand in that place. Nor should he sit in his father's designated makom. Nor does he contradict him during discussion. He can't even side with him in an argument. Rashi seems to learn that when his father is having a discussion, a debate with another person, so the son should not insert his 2 cents and side with the opponent. But other Mefarshim learn, even if it means defending your father, it's inappropriate. You're treating him like an equal. I'm on his side, I'm on his team. So these are all included in Moira. Awe, reverence, dignity, formality. Kibbud, what are expressions of Kibbud? Honoring, helping, offering assistance. Machlu mashke, if there's a need to feed them, to get them to drink. Malbush machasa, to dress them, to clothe them. Machem sumoitzi, bring them in, carry them out, transport them as per their need. Now comes an interesting question. We know that typically when there's a mitzvah, you have to spend, you have to be willing to expend your resources to be mekayim the mitzvah, right? What about kibbud av v'eim? Iboilu, mi shel mi, whose expense is it? Like any other mitzvah where the person obligated has to spend, in this case a son has to spend and feed his parents, or shall we say, well, here it's a bit different perhaps, because you have a mitzvah to take a lulav. So of course it goes on your account. You're accountable. You have to buy, you have to expend for it. But, your parents' meal is really their basic needs. It's their expense. The mitzvah perhaps is simply to provide, to prepare it for them, to offer it, to help them with it. But the actual expense involved, that they would have to do regardless. That's their own, looking after themselves. So perhaps that's different than an ordinary mitzvah like shaking a lulav where you have to spend money and buy your lulav. Mishal mi, whose expense is it? We have machlekes. Rabbi Yehuda Amar Mishal ben. Like any other mitzvahs I say, spend money on it. Rav Nosson bar Oishia Amar no, Mishal Av. This is very different. The actual expense is the parents. It's their business. You have to provide, you have to help, you have to assist. But the actual material, the actual expenditure is theirs. And in fact, that's how the Gemara paskins Oirule Rabbanon, the Rav Yirmiyah, the Rabbanon paskin for Rav Yirmiyah, the Amr, some say it was to his son, the Vreder Rav Yirmiyah, Kimman the Amr Mishal Av, that in fact it's the parents' expense. Meisvei, here comes a kash on this notion. Nemar, Kabed Savich Vesimecha. Here we have the pasuk Kabed Savich Vesimecha, and a similar phrase used when describing our relationship with Hashem. V'nemar Kabed es Hashem. Mehoincha. Hain is wealth. Your wealth. Spend your money to honor Hashem. And we connect the two forms of honor and kavod. And we say, Malahalan b'chasaron kis, just like by Hashem. Of course you spend money and to fulfill His mitzvahs and to honor Him. Av kan b'chasaron kis, the same thing over here. Honoring parents sometimes involves spending money. And if you're telling me that it's on the parents' account, in what way are we comparing it to the other Kavod Hashem? Here you're not spending any money. You're right, although you don't have to spend money outright, but there is an element of loss. Lebitul malacha, you have to stop, take off from work to help your parents. So it's sort of a passive loss. And that's also called chisar and kiss, although the actual expense, the actual provisions, is on their account. Tashmai comes another raya to our discussion. We have two brothers, Beizach, or Shnei Shutaf, and two close partners, or Ha'avu B'nai, father and son, who look after each other. Harav Talmida, a Rebbe and his Talmud, are close to each other. They're still separate individuals, halachically regarded as two separate entities, and therefore, Poidin Zel is a Maser Sheni. Let's say, the father has Maser Sheni in his field, and the son is going to go redeem it to help his father, and he's going to take his money, redeem the Maser Sheni, transfer the Kedusha on his money, and then feed his father. So he's doing it for his father's benefit. But he's not treated like the owner of the Maser Sheni. It's the father's. And since the father himself did not redeem it, there's no reason to add that chomish, that fifth, which is specific to a case where the owner, the farmer himself, makes that pidyon. So although they're close to each other, and the son takes care of him, right? We don't say they're one entity. Poidin zel zeh maser sheni. The same with the other individuals, the Rebbe with the Talmud. They're two separate entities, and the Talmud who is poidin maser sheni to help his Rebbe is not going to pay the chomish. Another halacha, which is related to this point, machilin zel zeh maser ani. If one has maser ani intended for poor people, he can give it to the Talmud, or the father can give it to his son. And Rashi says the other way as well. A son has a field, a farm, with Maser Ani. He can feed his father despite the fact that, he's meant to look after his father's needs. He's going to feed him in any case. If not for the Maser Ani, he would give him other food. He can do that because, after all, his father is his father, and he's himself. He's two separate people here. So if his father is entitled, his father is poor, he's an Ani, he can take the Maser Ani from his son. End of Bryce. Now, if we're going to assume that a son has to use his own resources to feed his father, if that's the case, if he has to spend money on it, we're going to prove it's not so, because if it would be so, then this wouldn't be allowed. This wouldn't make sense. So the son is basically taking something which he's supposed to be giving to poor people, and he's paying off his debt. He's applying it towards his mitzvahs, kibbud of aim. You can't do that. You can't take something which belongs to the poor people and use it to pay up your debt, to fulfill your mitzvah, kibbud of aim. Apparently, a son does not have to spend money on kibbud of aim, so it's not called paying up your chayv. No, says the Gemara. Let's perhaps, child does have to spend money. There's no right from here. Perhaps he does have to spend money for his parents' basic needs. But here we're speaking about lahadafa extra. Beyond, the basic requirement, beyond their basic needs. That extra bit, which he's not really obligated to spend money on, that he can give them from Maser Ani. Well, if that's the case, if that's what we're speaking about, how do we explain the next lesson from Rabbi Yehuda? Rabbi Yehuda is explaining this price. You think it's something No, we don't recommend this. A klala, a me'era should be for a person who actually uses Maser Ani to feed his parents. 1 second. The basic needs? Well, that's not what he's using Maser Ani for. This is extra. We're speaking about extra. My nafkamina, why is this person painted in such a bad light? Their basic needs are being looked after conventionally, without Maser Ani. This is just, a little extra. Why is that so bad? He's not actually providing for them with Maser Ani. This is to give them a little, little wiggle space, a little extra, provisions. Still, says the Gemara, it's not appropriate. It's embarrassing for his father to be fed Maser Ani. And that's why Rabbi Yehuda came down so strong on him. Tashmai comes another raya, whether a child has to spend or not. Shalos Rabbi Lezer, Adeichan Kibbud of Aim. They asked Rabbi Lezer, please give us some extreme example of real high level of kibbud av v'em. Amar he says, look, you want to reach the epitome. You want to know what's really considered a full, 100% fulfillment of this mitzvah. Kadei sheyitul arnaki, to the point that his father grabs his wallet, son's wallet, and throws it into the water right in front of his son. The son does not turn around and yell at his father. Once you achieve that level, that's really a true achievement of the mitzvah of kibbud av v'em. Now, v'yamris mishal av. If you tell me that a son never has to spend money on the kibbud av v'em, so apparently this wallet that he's grabbing is not the son's, otherwise the son can hold him back from doing it. Apparently it's the father's, his own wallet. Why would the son care? Why is that a litmus test of the mitzvah of kibbud av v'em? Why would the kid get riled up about it? You know what? We're speaking of this kid is a potential heir. He can actually inherit his father's properties. Now his father throws away his wealth in front of his face. That can really agitate the child. Look, you're just wasting my future inheritance. If he remains silent, then he passed the test. Like we find in the following story that a father actually tested his sons midos and his character. The Rabba bar Rav Huna, a story involving Rava, the son of Rav Huna. The Rav Huna kara shiroi ba'anpi Rabba bar. Rav Huna went ahead and tore some silk garments right in front of his son Rava. Omar, he says, I want to test him. Where he's holding in terms of character traits. I want to go see a rasach, if he gets mad, ila rasach or not. Sometimes the father will do that to test his child. Now, why is that a litmus test if the father is using destroying his own property? The answer is because his son is a potential Yerush. Now, I ask a Gemara question. How can he do that? How can he challenge his son, put him in a situation of Nisayan? How do you know? Maybe he was going to get upset. He's putting a stumbling block in front of a blind man. He's tripping him up. How can he do that? Because Rav Huna forgave his son ahead of time. If he gets upset, I'm not gonna take it affront. Not gonna take it personally. So he was moichel him. So even if he gets upset, he's not really doing an avera. Interesting. Some Mepharshim bring from this Gemara that a parent is meant to have that attitude towards its kids. Yeah, train them to respect elders, to respect parents, to respect tradition. But ultimately, the Rambam writes very strongly that a parent should not be makbid, should not come down with a heavy hand, have high expectations and high standards, and be strict and expect them to live up to all these things and keep it. Be moichel, be easy on them. That's the way to go. Just like this Gemara, where we find that he was moichel. Asks the Gemara, okay, so we took care of the problem of tripping him up because he was moichel. So in any case, he wouldn't be over an isser of kibbud av v'em. But there's another isser that father is doing by destroying property unnecessarily. He's doing bal tashchis. V'ka'avar mishal bal tashchis. Answer is the avad lebipum biyani. He didn't really damage the garment because he took it apart at the seams, which can easily be put together. Well, if that's the case, maybe it wasn't much of a test in terms of his son's anger, because maybe that's why he didn't get upset, because he saw he was tearing it and wasn't really damaging it. The he did it at a time where his son was already sort of agitated. This certainly would trip him up, even at the seams. So it was a good way to test. Fine. Masnli Rabbi Cheskel Rami Brei. Rabbi Cheskel had a son Rami, and had a son Rabbi Yehuda. So Rabbi Cheskel is sitting and teaching his son Rami the following halach. We know that there are 4 ways of applying capital punishment in Bezdin. We have skila by stoning, streifa by burning, hereg and chenek. Which one is the most severe? Which one is the most difficult of all? According to the Chachamim, it goes skila, then streifa, in that order. So skila is on top, then comes streifa, which is, of lesser severity. Rabbi Shimon puts it the other way around. First comes streifa, it's the most severe form of punishment, and then comes skila. Okay, so knowing that, we have a story like this. Hanisrafim ben iskolam. So let's say you have, a mix-up. You have a fellow who is ruled to streifa, right? They're going to apply streifa to him. And there are several fellows who are liable to skila. And this streifa fellow mixed in with these skila guys. We have no idea who's who. So which misa do we apply? They're meant to have misa, but which one? So Rabbi Cheskel taught his son that according to Rabbi Shimon Omer, Yadayinu b'skila. They should, the Bezdin should apply skila, which is the appropriate misa of the majority in this group. But he explained, you know why? He gave a reason. Not because of a halacha of roiv, shas streifa chamura. You can't apply streifa, which is meant to be something applied to the individual, got mixed up to the group. No, you can't, because it's more severe. You have no right to apply that form of punishment. Which is really an interesting, like, why did he have to add this on? Just say simply, because if it's one streifa amongst 10 skila, of course you apply skila. It's like a tarayv, it's a mix-up, and you go with the rayv, right? And that was Rabbi Yehuda's kasha. So Rabbi Yehuda, the other son, turned to his father and says, why are you telling him this reason? It's so much more simple than that. Go with the rayv. Amalei Rabbi Yehuda brei. Abba, father, like this nayachi, don't teach him this way, it's a mistake. My area streifa chamura. Who needs that extra reason that streifa is more severe, so we have to keep... Typically, deruba, niskal mnino. So much more simple. The majority is skila, you apply skila. Elach is nay. Rather, this is the correct version of this halacha, which will jive with the added reason. If it's the other way, the majority are nisrafim, and you should go with the right, still you don't, because streifa was more chamer, you have a right to do the more chamer and apply it to all of them, even to the fellow who's not deserving of that. So therefore you go with the lesser. That's the way to say the Bryce. Elach is nay. This is what you should teach my brother. Haniskolim ben Israf. You have one skila amongst many streifa. So typically you follow the majority, but no, in this case you can't because streifa was more chamer. You have no right to do that. Go with the skila. Now, his father responded very calmly. He says, "1 second, if that's the case, you're switching around the order, switching around the circumstance. Emos seifa, but it's not going to match with the next part of the brayse. So again, according to you, we have one skill with many streifas, right? Chacham say, do streifa. So, do you have to add any reasons? No, it's very simple, because there are more streifas, right? But they do give a reason. Do streifa because skill is more severe. Skill is more severe, right? Shas skill chamura. 1 second. If there are more streifas, then it's so much more simple than that. You don't have to give reasons. Streifa is the right. My area is skill chamura. Why do you need an extra reason? That skill can't be applied because it's more severe. Typically, the ruben and strafanino. It's obvious why you give streifa, because there are more streifas. So according to your recalibration of this case, you're going to have a kasha with the next part of the Bryce. Amalei Rabbi Yehuda says, 1 second, no. It still works. The reason why the Chacham will apply streifa is, as you said, because it's raiv. They were just trying to add another twist, because they were trying to respond to Rav Shimon and set the facts straight. It wasn't a reason for the halacha. The reason for the halacha is very simple, because there are more streifas than skila. Amalei Hasam, the Rabbanon who the Ka'amru Leil Rav Shimon. The Rabbanon were giving two presentations. Firstly, when you have one skila with many streifas, you do streifa because raiv. That's first of all. It's pretty obvious. Number two, Ka'amalei Rav Shimon, they were addressing Rav Shimon. The Ka'amras, streifa chamura. You just told us, streifa is more chamur. Actually not. Lo is skila chamur. Skila is more chamur. And therefore, you Rav Shimon say that you give skila. Well, actually, you're applying the worst punishment. That's not fair. So, the reason why we give streifa is because it's raiv. But number two, how could you, Rav Shimon, say you're going to give skila when skila is more chamur? It's not fair. In any case, that was the back and forth. Father taught one way. The son corrected him. And he explained the brisa differently. Amar le Shmuel Rabbi Yehuda. So Shmuel overheard this conversation. And he turns to Rabbi Yehuda, the son who corrected his father. Shinana. He said, Shapon. So first, a word of praise. Positive reinforcement. Okay? Put him on a good, start with a good note. And then, he corrected him. He says, one should not address his father like that, so directly. It's insulting, the Sanya, as we find in a brisa. Even though it's in learning, but it's not respectful to go so direct and correct it. The Sanya Harishaya. Suppose a fellow notices his father violating a halacha. Of course, he has to clarify things, but in a respectful way. Al Yarmale should not address him by saying, Abba, Dad, you're violating. No, you shouldn't say that. Elo Yarmale should say, Abba, Kach Chasab Torah. This is what it says in the Torah, and some say it's like a question mark. Kach Chasab Torah? Is this what it says in the Torah? So the Gemara responds to that. Well, it's not much better. He's actually offending him just as much, because he's criticizing him directly. Elo Amrle Radley should tell it to him in a very like a sort of by the way, a benign way. Abba, he says, Father, Mikro Kasab Torah Kach. There's a pasuk, Zachas Yom Shabbos Lakadsha. And they sort of read him the pasuk and don't make it personal. Just make it factual. The father will figure it out, and will save face. So this was the point that he was teaching Rabbi Yehuda in terms of correcting his father, even regarding Divrei Torah. Be careful, do it sensitively. Okay, further on the topic of Kibbud Avim, Elazar ben Masher Eimer. Here comes a question. Abba Eimer Shkeni Maim. Father asks me for a glass of water. Mitzvah lases. I have another mitzvah, right? Happening. Right there, Kvura Sameis, a Lavoya, right there happening. What do I do with my father? Which one takes priority? I choose the mitzvah over Kibbud Avim. You know why? My father is also obligated. He's also chayiv in the same mitzvah of Lavoya Sameis and Kvura Sameis. So, that takes priority. Isi ben Yehuda Eimer. Well, it depends. If that mitzvah can be accomplished by others, it should be done by others, and the son should address his father's needs. But otherwise, of course, the Levaya takes priority. Amar Masna, that's the halacha, K'isi ben Yehuda. Amar B'yitzchak bar Shila, Amar Masna mar Chizda. Ha'av shemochel al kvoidoi mochel. Hashem allows parents to forgive, to be moichel on their kavod, not to be particular about their honor. But a Rebbe does not work like that. Harav shemochel al kvoidei ein kvoidei mochel, because it's the honor of the Torah. It's not his personal honor; it's the honor of the Torah. So that you can't negate, that you can't be moichel on. Rabbi Yosef Amar, he disagrees. Afilu Rav Shemochel al Kvoide Kvoide Machel. Even Rabbi has the ability to mochel on kavod Torah. Shenema, we have a right from the Torah. Hashem, v'Hashem hoylech lefneim yom. Hashem would show Klal Yisrael the way in the Midbar. Hashem assisted Klal Yisrael. Apparently, Hashem could be mochel kavod yachal is covered. Amar Rav Achi Ashta. Well, how could you compare? How could you bring a right from Hashem to a Rebbe of Basar Radam? Hasam HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Hashem owns the world. Alma delay, it's his world. Alma delayhu, V'Torah delayhu, it's his world, it's his Torah. Of course, he can do anything. Machle the Ikari, he can meichel on the Kaved. Acha Torah delayhi, but here a Chacham learns Torah. Is it the Torah that belongs to the Chacham? He's learning Hashem's Torah. He doesn't have the ability to be meichel on the Kaved of the Torah. Hadam Rava came back and says no. And yes, correct. Torah delay. The Torah does relate to the Rebbe, meaning although it's Hashem's Torah, it becomes personal. It identifies with the person learning it. So yeah, Hashem considers it his Torah, the Torah of the Rebbe, and he can be meichel on that covet. The Chsiv, we find a pasuk that teaches us that when one immerses in Torah, initially it's called Hashem's Torah, and then when a person learns and gets into it, it's called his Torah. It becomes embedded within the person. When you say over halacha or something, you have to say it b'shem Omer, related to the source. Quote the person who said it's his. It's his part of Torah. Rashi brings the beginning of the pasuk. Hashem cheftzai. Initially, it's sort of Hashem's, and then it says Uba Torah Sai. V'tchila says Rashi on the third line, he nikras Torah Hashem. Umi shalamda v'garza nikras Torah Sai. Then it becomes personal. So of course you can be meichel on that covet. Aini is that's so that a Rav can be meichel on his covet, but Rav a mashki. There's a story involving Rav himself, which indicates otherwise, perhaps. For Rav Mashki, Be'ilula Devrei, Rav was making a wedding for his son, and he was walking around serving his guests. So he's pouring them a drink. V'dali kasa Rav Papa, the Rav Huna B'Divishua, and he served a glass to Rav Papa, to Rav Huna, V'kamim Kamei, and as he was serving them, they got up in his honor. And he went over to Rav Mori, the Rav Pechas B'Rav Chizda, and he served them a glass. V'kamim Kamei, he didn't get up for him. Ikbid. So he was makbid. But Amar, he says like this: Han Rabbanon, the first pair, Han Rabbanon, the Rabbanon. Sorry, these Rabbanon here refused to get up from Yah. On their Chashav Rabbanon, they can't get up from me. Han Rabbanon, Lav Rabbanon, the other ones are not on your standard. They can just get up. They have no problem getting up from me. Meaning, why are you different than them? Why didn't you get up from me? It's inappropriate. Visu, we have another similar story with the same message. Rav Papa, the Abba Mabre. Rav Papa was walking around serving his guests at the wedding of his son Abba Mari. With all the Kessler of Yitzchak Beit Rav Yehuda, and he served the Kessler of Yitzchak. Look, he didn't get up for him. But he was upset. Why? A Rav Shemachal al Kavoida answers the Gemara, you're right. You don't have to get up necessarily. Afilu hachi hidur. Hidur means, Rashi says, lo noa ma'at. Make like a gesture, a movement. Show that you want. Kilo roit salamad mipanab, says Rashi. As though you want to get up. So even though you're a guest and he's serving you, you don't necessarily have to jump up but at least indicate. Hidur. That much he expected. Afilu hachi hidur mi'aved leibo. Amar Ravashi, even according to the Shita, that Rebbe came a Meichel, but that's only an ordinary Rebbe, but a Nasi, like the Rosh of the Bezdin, etc., the supreme leader in Klal Yisrael. He represents the nation. He cannot forego his honor. Nasi shemachal al kvoide ein kvoide machal. Really? We have a kasha from a Nasi who's Meichel. Maaseh, Rabbi Lezer, Rabbi Yeshua, Rabbi Tzadok. Where were they? Shem Yasub and Beis Mishta. They came to the wedding of the son of whom? Of the Nasi. He was walking around serving his guests. And what happened? Each guest responded differently. Nas Nakois, Rabbi Lezer, he served Rabbi Lezer, refused to take it from him. You can't serve me. You're a Nasi. But then, Nasanel Rabbi Yeshua, when he served Rabbi Yeshua, Bekila accepted it. Amalei Rabbi Lezer. So Rabbi Lezer turned to him. How can you do that? He's a Nasi. How could you allow him to serve us? Mazi Yeshua, what's going on here, Yeshua? We're going to sit there and Gamaliel is going to serve us? Yeshua says, sure. It's his pleasure. It's his greatest pleasure. We find the person who's even greater than Gamaliel who served his guests. It's his mitzvah. Avraham Avinu, he's the greatest in his generation. And what did he do? He served the three Malachim who appeared to him like Arabs. So for all he knew, they were plain Arabs. Because well, maybe you'll suggest that he knew that they were Malachim. No. They look like plain Arabs. In fact, he told them to wash their feet and get rid of the avak, Rashi says, because they would worship their avak on the raglaim. So they thought they were just plain wayfarers. He was involved in Hashem's mitzvah. He gave Michael on his covered here as well. During the wedding, Vanu, in an our case, Layei Rabbi Gamliel Rebbe, Over the mashkalin, just because Rabbi Gamliel is a great man, but Rebbe's a great man, but he's serving us to be mechaber us, to be mekarav us. This is part of the wedding. He's meichel on his covered. Amar lehem Rabbi Tzadok. Rabbi Tzadok responded in support of Rabbi Yeshua, but he says, look, you don't have to go that far. Why are you ignoring a solid proof, a very basic solid proof, which relates to the way Hashem is meichel on his kavod? Instead, you choose to prove this point by bringing a raya from Avinu, who is a person. Look, go to Hashem himself. HaKadosh Baruch Hu, what does he do every day? He blows the winds, the Malanasim, gets the clouds going, makes it rain, gets the ground growing, he provides for all of us. Hashem. So of course, our host, Rabbi Gamliel, in our case, of course it makes sense that our host is serving us. So basically, he made his point. Elo says the Gemara, you're right. Itma, if it was learned, it was as follows. A father could be meichel, a nasi could be meichel, but not a king. Amar Rashi, afilu man da amar nasi. Even if you hold that a nasi can, but a melech cannot. Melech shemach al kvoide ein kvoide machal. You know why? He represents Hashem's kingship in this world. Shenemar soim tasim alecha melech. Soim tasim. Why the duplicate lashon? He's the supreme authority. Shetei eimasoi alecha. So whether it's because it's Saim Tassim, it's a double lashon, or Saim Tassim sounds like Eima, Masai. In any case, a king is totally different. It's not on account of the person, on account of his Torah, all that you can be meichel on. Here, he's Hashem's sort of representative in terms of Malchus, and that you can't negate. That's untouchable. Tana Rabbanim. V'pnei seva takum. So you get up for a seva. What is seva? An older man. What does that mean? Any older man? Yochal afilu b'pnei zokan ashmoy. Ashmoy says Rashi, Ashim. A violator. A Rasha of Amoritz. Anybody? It's just about age? Talmud no. Zakin. Pnei seva takum, right? V'adarta pnei zakin. What does zakin mean? It's more than years. Vein zakin ela chacham. Shenamar Israeli shivim ish miziknei Yisrael. Zikna on this pasuk denotes chachma. As we have in the Raya, 70 people, Zikanim, they were all chachamim. They were the leaders of Klal Yisrael. Rashi says, Ziknei Am, they were the greatest. Rabbi Yehuda the word zakin is like a joint word, like a Rashi Tevis. Zeh shekana chacham. Zeh zakin. Zeh shekana chacham. Shenema Hashem konani reishes darka. We find the lashon kinyan by chachma. Hashem konani reishes darka regarding the Torah. So both Tanakam and Rabbi Yehuda seem to be saying a similar halacha, which we'll see later. We'll explain the differences. But the bottom line is, it's not just about years and age. It's about content. It's about scholarship. It's about chachma. Okay, so you get up for the Talmud Chacham. What about if he's far away? Do you get up for him too? Talmud Lemer, no. Has to relate to him. Has to be show an expression of honor. It says, getting up has to be a show of honor. Standing up where it honors him when he's close by. What does honor mean? Maybe you send him a check. We connect Vadarta to Takum backwards. Just like getting up doesn't cost you any money. Af Hidur, Hidur is also not something which costs you money. Perhaps a person is involved in Beis HaKisei, washing himself, taking care of his bodily needs. You have to get up there as well. No. Which means again, getting up, standing up, only in a hidur, in a honorable, context, as opposed to these situations. What if a person, pretends, closes his eyes? I didn't see him. I don't have to get up. Torah warns against that. Torah addresses that as well. It says, "Takum v'yarei Be careful. Hashem is watching. This is an example of something which is given to one's heart, given to a person's discretion, to choose to pay attention or to pretend like he didn't see it. Watch out, Hashem is on top of things. Rabbi Shimon ben Elazar Eimer. But still, the older men, the Zaken, the Chacham, should not give us a heart, should try to avoid compelling the crowd to get up. He shouldn't burden them. If he has another way you can walk without being matriach, he should do that. So we're meant to honor him, but he's meant to avoid. The Zaken should have fear of Hashem. So the word Zaken is next to Yeresa to tell you that it applies to him as well. Use your discretion and be sensitive. Isa ben Yehuda Eimer. He disagrees with Tanakama. The Chachma is a prerequisite for the getting up. Isa ben Yehuda Eimer seva taka means I feel kol seva b'mashma. Any older man, even a Zaken Ashmoy. Okay, so we have Tanakama who says only a Chacham. Rabbi Yehuda says a Chacham as well. And this last Shita, even a non-Chacham. Now, Tanakama and Rabbi Yehuda seem to be saying the same thing. It's about age and Chachma. Rabbi Yehuda, I'm a Tanakama. Right? Because they're both saying the same thing. So what's the machlekes? What about a young Talmud Chacham? Yanik is a young Talmud Chacham. Tanakama savar Yanik v'Chacham loy. Tanakama says no. He must have Chachma, but also age. The age factor is a condition. Rabbi Yehuda savar no. He says it's all about Chachma. Ein zaken elamisha kana Chachma, right? It's all about that, and that's it. I feel a Yanik v'Chacham, even if he's a Chacham, but he's young. That's also fine. It also requires getting up for. My time with Rabbi Yehuda. Why, in fact, does he say it applies even to a younger Chacham? He says like this: because if it were so, meaning if the Tanakama was right, that it's about age as well. And the pasuk would say like this: which would basically tell us that he needs to be a seva and a zaken, right? He has to be seva, which means a person advanced in years, and also the zaken, which is chachma. I seva zaken talk, right? And then that's it. We would know that it's a zaken, a seva who is a zaken. Zaken means chachma, like he had a gzera shava before, right, from the Yeshiva Mish. Why is it that Torah split the cases? They say about Takum, right? Then it says about Darta Pnei Zaken. Why don't you put Seva and Zaken together if it's the same person? Lemema to teach you. There are two separate mitzvahs. The high lav high, the high lav high. That we're speaking about two separate cases. An older man who's a Talmud Chacham and a young man as well. Shema Mina, we learn that even a young man who's a Chacham deserves this honor. Tanakama responds by saying, well, Mishum de Boyle Mismach Zaken be erased. The reason why the Torah arranged the wording this way it's because Hashem wanted the word Zaken to be near V'Yeresa to teach us that the Zaken has to be careful not to overburden the crowd. Okay, so that was his response to Rabbi Yessi's question. Now, what about the Tanakama? Why did he not learn like Rabbi Yessi? Tanakama, who says that it has to be an older man and a Chacham, right? It needs to be years and Chachma together. Tanakama, why didn't he hold like Rabbi Yessi Aglili? Then the pasuk would say it like this. Number one, a person advanced in age. Get up, honor this person who's an older Talmud Chacham. And then, even a young man. And repeat it again. Right? Two separate mitzvahs. The fact is, the Torah didn't say it like that. Why? The Torah did not sort of repeat the whole phrase once and again. Shema Menachadu. Apparently, it's the same person. Same person. It's all one and the same mitzvah. You get up for a person who's A, advanced in age, and B, has Chachma as well, but not for a young Talmud Chacham. Okay, so in summation, we learned about the definition of kavod for parents, definition of moira. Gemara paskins that the expenses are billed to the parents, but the bittul malacha is a charge of responsibility. We learned about how to speak respectfully to parents, even in matters of halacha, even if one sees his parents being over and avera. A parent could be meichel on his kavod. Likewise, a rebbe, even a nasi according to some shittas, but not a melech. Regarding standing up and getting up for a chacham, Tanakama says only a chacham who's an older man. According to Rabbi Yehuda, even a young chacham, and according to Rabbi Lezer, Isa ben Yehuda, even a zaken ashmoy deserves that honor. And Bez Hashem will continue discussing this brisa tomorrow. All the best to you and Hatzlacha Rabbah.